According to Kelso, the chemical attack against the castle came from the plaza. Not exactly a surprise considering the area is heavily contaminated with DC-62. DC-62 is a chemical agent that was intended to stop the spread of green poison, but it turns toxic in certain conditions. We're worried they're using metro trains to move chemical munitions around the city, so your first task will be to deal with that threat. You'll also need to sabotage their operation and neutralize the commander, some guy named Wilson.
Entering safe area.
All right, good morning, everybody. Yeah, me and my wife were talking for a little minute about some shit, so. But yeah. What's going on, y'all? How everybody doing and all that good shit like that? Another day. Another grind. Trying to get 30 on time. You know what I'm saying? I'm at level 17 right now. Going to do a level, I think, 15 mission or something else like that. Cause shoot, I put in five more this morning. You heard me? I put in 5 more this morning since I've been up. I mean, because it don't make no sense to panic. It just makes more sense to just, yeah. I was telling. Yeah. Man, why it look like my character got dandruff and shit, man? What the fuck? I'm gonna have to fix that shit, son. Expeditiously, like my man Tip say.
You know what? You should actually see if they have anything here.
Who?
Miss Kim?
I should, and
Yeah.
Nothing moving out there yet.
I think I might have saw her truck, but I don't know if she up front. I have to check. Solo Dolo, Jefferson Plaza, Lego.
We need to prevent True Sons from using the metro to transport chemical weapons. So start by disabling any operational trains you find.
You can't let those munitions be distributed. You saw what they did to the castle.
Shooby-doo-bop, boom, boom, boom. Shooby-doo-bop, boom, boom, boom. Get your stupid ass down. Bring your fuck ass up. Be a man. I'm by myself. I got your whole team. Show your fucking faces. We yet. He ain't moved yet. Is he back there? Nah, I see you, bitch. No. Use a sniper. Stick your fucking head up, chump. Stick your head up. I dare you. I bet you. I bet you won't. Bet you. Bet you. Bet you. Bet you. Get out, Merc. Bet you won't. Bet you won't. Bet you won't. Stuck his head up, too. That bitch is now DOA. They ain't dropped shit for me. I'm a little disappointed in that. But I'm waiting till that TU6 update. That shit's supposed to be kind of good, so yeah. We ain't put it on charger last night?
The squad at Lincoln's been waiting for this delivery. We've got to get those shells on the train.
As your sergeant, I'm ordering you to move those.
Saw your buddy fly in the air. Your turn. Fire your ass up too. Good morning, y'all. Make a shotgun. A lazy shotgun. Fuck it. Can't work anyway. Ah, get it. Nope. Be yourself. Almost clear, Cletus.
Scanning. Operational train detained.
Agent, find a way to put that train out of commission.
Ah.
They have eyes on Wilson. Outside near the main entrance to the mall. We need to terminate this son of a bitch. There's no direct route from your position, so you'll have to divert through the hotel and into the mall.
Alright. So again, I'm solo. Because usually, when you're trying to level up a character,
Intercepted.
Get the munitions. We gotta secure the
and you try to match make, there's not really a lot of people who trying to do different characters. So you ain't gonna really see a lot of people trying to match make for it.
Come and face me!
Shit, I ain't. Don't go back to sleep. Do you over there? Go back to sleep. Yeah, I'm here.
Next one's a gunshot.
Knew it was coming. shotgunner. Right on time. Your handy dandy notebook having ass down. Take your ass out now. Oh, there you go. You ran back behind that cover. Take him out. Fuck it. Who else is here? Let's see. Two on the bottom. I thought I saw two. Just one. Dead.
There's an elevator that should take you to the mall. Wilson is still by the entrance. We've spotted a mortar team with him. These are probably the fuckers who attacked the castle.
Again, I'm leveling up my other character. Assault rifle, rifle build.
Hostile forces incoming.
I need to get this damn comment off my screen. That's what's throwing me off. Pressure.
DC-62 toxic detected. Contamination level lethal.
What the hell? These readings are insane. They must have a lab nearby for weaponizing this shit. Make sure you put it out of operation.
Told that nigga, I said, yeah, I'd win that drinking game. The drinking game that if every time a notification goes off on your phone, you gotta take a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all your phones sitting in the middle of the table and shit. And I say I'll win that shit, man, because my phone dried in instant mashed potatoes. He talking about my luck with the cruise and the music shit, man. I'll be drinking all night. I guess you do that. I guess you do that. That is a travesty, though. That's who I want right there, all the way in the back. This nigga throwing fucking rockets and shit. Try again, buddy. Somebody left. I still got heat. Going through here. Oh, I see. Oh, fat boy. Shred that nigga with that rifle, though. Pull that rifle out and ice his ass. What's up, bitch? Huh? Yeah, I got dandruff, but you dead. Both start with a D, but one means something totally different from the other. Open dyed sesame door. Hold on, destroy the tanks. Have to kill these people too. Probably. Yeah, look at that stupid ass right there. You did that. Come on. No. Stick your head. No, stick your head back up, motherfucker. Go ahead, take your ass. Uh-huh. Tell me how I like something. What are you talking about? Motherfucker tried to run from that grenade. No, bitch.
Excellent. I'll send in a team to dismantle the rest of that crap once you've cleared the site.
Huh? think it's because you're trying not to focus on a little bit of discomfort and shit. Need all that. I'm talking about the game, baby. Okay, where I'm at with my shit. I ain't changed nothing yet till I find some more shit. Alright, let's go. Appreciate that, Jared, for liking the stream. knock it out.
Don't let Wilson get away.
I'll finish that agent.
No more contacts. Great work. Wilson's unit is out of action, and you've crippled TrueSun's chemical warfare efforts. Also, Kelso just reported in to confirm the survivors from the castle settlement have safely reached the rooftop settlement. There's no one doing what happened to them.
So now we're just gonna pretty much jump over to the White House, get some things done over there, and then we're gonna head over to the left side of the map. And try to get a lot done over there. Try to reach level 30. So yeah, it's gonna be a full day. Make sure y'all hit that the notification. Oh, make sure y'all know when we go live. Things like that.
Agent in need of backup.
Come back to the base if you want to add to your skills, Agent.
Alright. Since he talking about adding to skills, let's see what he talking about.
We've got a new skill for you. Which one do you want?
Which one I haven't unlocked yet? Well, since it's gonna be no. I don't know what to unlock. I'm gonna just unlock something.
Goodbye.
Before I even change out anything, I'm gonna go ahead and check on these caches. Nope. Nope. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Looking to deal? That's good stuff.
That piece ain't bad to have either.
I hope it serves you well.
That's the only thing I want from
I'm
your
happy to
ass.
have made
I'll
a
sell
deal.
everything else.
My inventory thanks you. Come over
I
here.
could have sworn I bought something from this jump. Oh, I
Good
bought
to
it
see
and I
you.
put it on. That's why.
Looks like high-end gear. Your business is appreciated.
Yeah, I think I'm on my way to a pretty good build here. As long as I keep steady at what I need and nothing that I don't need. You know what I'm saying? So let's go over to the campus, shall we?
GCF officers will be carrying out spot checks throughout the safe area. Please carry identification with you at all times.
We've got what we need, but thanks.
Agent, stop by when you can. There's a project ready to be completed.
Oh yeah. I'm living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you, nigga. Living my best life. Ain't going back and forth with you, nigga. Living my best life. I don't know why that song was in my head all morning. All morning. No cap. Open thine said gate, please. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put this thing right on. I'm gonna need another one of them though. Bump that thing right back up to 40. Oh yeah. Time to get in some shit now, y'all.
Civilians in distress.
She sounds so good. So good. Alright, hold on. I know one thing I forgot to put on my screen. Excuse me.
Hostile broadcast picked up.
on, let me look. What you talking about, bro? What you talking about? Let's see what you're talking about, Willie.
Hostile broadcast detected.
Shout out to my dog, Trill the Shooter Gamer. Hey Willie, you gotta make sure you tag your games, bro. It ain't saying what you playing. So you gotta make sure you tag your games, bro.
Civilians in danger.
Yeah, but outside of that, though, you is over there killing up some shit. No cap, my boy over there, Trill the Shooter. I think he playing Rainbow Six Siege. I want to say that look like that's what he was playing. That look good. That look good. Boy, they killing up some shit.
Supplies nearby. Hostile control point nearby. Immediate medical assistance needed.
So I'm in a new zone, level 18. I'm in the zone I'm in right now. It's 15 through 18. I've been grinding by myself pretty much, which is cool. It didn't really matter. And I've honestly come out well above where I wanted to be at this point. So I'm just trying to keep it that way. And also trying to maximize all things assault rifle and rifle damage, or weapon damage, and minimize anything else that doesn't have anything to do with nothing that doesn't relate to armor, health, weapon, assault rifle damage, or rifle damage.
Come on in.
Hey there. Nice to see another agent around here.
Oh my god.
You have received an invite.
Oh, this is my dog. Oh man. Hold up. I gotta send her a party and like, hey, what her name is? Am I tripping? That's my dog.
What up, Chef? What's going on?
Shit, what up, dog? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up? How you been?
Huh?
I said, how you been?
You have joined a group.
I've been alright.
Group augmentation activated.
Word.
Trying to keep my head on
Another
straight.
agent has been promoted to group leader.
Wait, did your head somehow become crooked?
Hmm.
Did your head somehow become crooked? And I didn't know about it. Now, nigga, now you know I cannot get with that. So you gonna have to tell me how you did that shit, cause I want to achieve things out of this world.
I'm gonna have to. What?
You gonna have to hold on. Let me
It
switch.
sounds like you're going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
I was just talking. Okay, now I can hear you better. I was just talking to my husband. I said, "Boy, I need to we need to invest in a another headphone." I can hear you.
And the headset turned down. Oh, Jesus Christ! Please stab me with a plastic fork on the way. But yeah, I had on the other headphones for the stream, and so I was monitoring like all the audio coming in or whatever, and usually it has
Uh-oh, you done went out again.
all right, mic check.
Let me see. I got it so where it show up on the
me
screen. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
But it's probably because I was right in front of the other mic. But yeah, I had on the other headphones. Due to the other computer and shit, I had to put these in so we could hear.
Oh, okay. When the hell did this get back like this?
What you talking about?
The missions then got invaded again?
It's every week.
They doing too much.
No, they ain't.
Doing
they
too
ain't.
much.
No cap. There's a lot of new changes coming to this game, bro. There's a lot of new changes coming to this game. They about to get ready to rescale shit. You know how people got like all these dope ass, high ass armored builds, and it's hard to go into the dark zone and shit like that. They about to revamp all that shit. The recalibration. They about to revamp all that shit. They about to come out with 2.
I don't even be seeing people in dark zone no more for real. Do you notice that?
I notice I get killed when I'm in there, because while I'm in there, when I'm inspecting these niggas' builds, these niggas got like 450,000 armor and shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't got all
shit
that.
like that.
I go in, get my little stuff, and sneak back out, because during the times that I go in, it might be like early morning. I guess people go to school or work or whatever they got going on, and I go in and go out. Don't nobody really be in there.
Yo, this shit crazy. I'm gonna level. Well, you know this is my second character, right?
I haven't even looked at you. Oh, a level 18. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
My second character, I ain't even been playing it. Oh, well, I'm about to do some control points, so come on, get your experience up on this character.
Oh, I see you right now.
I'm at the Fallen Epiphany.
Yeah, man, goddamn. Getting shit together for love, man.
It was a boy?
Yeah, it's a boy.
Everybody's having boys. Like 3 of my friends that had boys
To tell
recently.
the truth, I got classmates that we and them didn't have kids yet, and all of us are having boys. Like, it's retarded.
Oh, you want this 488
Group
right here?
augmentation inactivated.
I don't want that.
Okay, I'll leave it right there then.
Unless
everybody's been having boys, so I was like, oh
unless
Lord.
it's like rifle damage, assault rifle damage, or something like that.
Oh no, it's like some knee pads. No, it was knee
I'm
pads.
saying like what it got on.
Activated.
No, it was knee pads.
I mean, I can't wear nothing yet, of course.
Some nimble knee pads.
Yes, I can't really wear shit yet.
Look at your player looking all young and stuff.
God damn.
With a baby face.
God damn. This gonna do my little young man in.
Threatening civilians. What you doing? Oh, you got the goo-doo. Where he going? He already suppressed.
take that.
When I be laughing when I cut the music up. What's this? A loot box right here. What you got? Oh no, some more knee pads. Keep giving players knee pads.
Reinforcements incoming.
Oh, okay. The control point right here.
Merc already setting it off.
We've lost one.
I see.
Done. I bust shots.
Secret mine. Oh, you see that one coming, did you?
My squishy. I will love you forever.
Where does the dude go at? Where he go at? Did he climb the window already?
Not sure.
Nah, but yeah, everybody's having boys. That's so cute. Y'all picked out a name yet?
Be my joint.
Oh, my son is a junior.
Crazy, 'cause I'll be.
I've had some people question me about that, and I'm like, are y'all really questioning me why I named my son after his father? I was like, I think that's some weirdo shit. I think that's some weirdo shit. Why would you ask me? Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Somebody snuck behind me. Oh, he got him. Good job, dude. Good job. He did. But yeah, I was like, that's weirdo shit. I was like, that's his father. Why wouldn't I name him after his dad? Or why wouldn't that be a consideration?
That's stupid.
I was like, I liked it, and that was my choice. Thank you.
Our home
Weird ass
it was
people.
a girl, like, what would we name her? You know what I'm saying? That was really our own thing.
Detecting additional hostile contact.
Deandra. I got a good friend named Deandra.
DeAndre?
Uh-huh.
DeAndre? I don't know. I'm gonna ask my wife.
Inside. Oh, they outside.
Because you ain't looking for them.
Oh, snap. Oh, the goodness. Oh! What is this? Oh, this a medic back here. Oh, don't be healing, folks.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
He won't need a part of the thing. Whatever somebody threw at him, he dead. What else?
Again with that grenade. It didn't work.
Supposed to be some more folks over here.
Living my best life.
Speaking mind, got him.
Might have picked that.
Is that a drone?
Pick that nigga up.
Yeah,
Why you
it
picking
is.
niggas up, bro?
He got a drone maker back in the back. Like, nah, what you doing?
Hold up. You did.
This is Precision Protocol. That's that's knee pads too. I don't need all that.
Wendy's better stop sending me no goddamn coupon.
Let me talk to you.
Boy,
Really?
I wonder can I use the recal table at your goddamn White House? Boy, if I could use the recal table at your White House, I'm about to shit myself 3 times. Fuck.
But mine is already upgraded, ready to go. Ready to go.
Hey, have you checked out any of the new streams to see like the new artwork that the dude did for me?
I saw your thing today, and I was like, look at this fool right here.
Yeah, man. It cost $7.
I said he is
It
souped
cost
up.
$7, yo.
That's what's up. Would you
Yeah.
go on Fiverr?
Yo,
I love Fiverr.
yo, dude sent that shit back to me in like 10 hours. And then like when I sent him the link for the page or whatever, he came to watch the stream, he came to follow the page, he come to check it out. He popped through every time he gets a chance. And then he'll put his little,
That game.
put a little link in there, and I tell him, shit.
Oh, you seen it?
Oh yeah, I'm going to the White House real quick. I gotta
That's
see
what's
some
up.
shit real quick.
I see where you at.
Electronic device detected.
My husband's upgrading the doing the update to this 2K20. That's why I hopped on real quick. But that game take forever.
Let's see.
That game take forever.
Nigga, I can
Load.
use your recount table. What the fuck, nigga? See? I said I was gonna shit myself, then I gotta clean up.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do that shit right now. So let's see.
Portable
Yeah, I know how to use
electronic
the recount
device
table. You
detected.
gotta show me how to use the recount table. I know how to do it.
Good to see you.
I'm about.
You need to craft something?
He's showing you what to do.
Yeah. Just trying to.
Glad you
Baby,
got
don't
that
come
one.
over here showing me these pictures of my baby when he was small. Oh my God. He was so tiny. Oh my
Electronic
God.
device detected.
That was the best time ever.
Was it?
My husband, you know how Facebook
Yeah.
memories come up. Got a photo of LJ when he was small.
Bet he was bad then too. My wife told me, yeah, man, he gonna be bad, baby, and he gonna be a night baby, cause he always aggravate me at night. I said, oh shit, here we go. What?
Aww.
Let's see. Is that a rifle?
What?
Is that a rifle?
Hold on, Merc.
Nigga, what? Hold on, let me see if I can craft that shit.
Everything I'm seeing at this point fills me with optimism.
I'm ready when you are.
You sure? Sound like your ass grubbing over there, boy. Whatever that is, sound like it's on one.
Oh.
Fuck it up. 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 Fuck it up.
I think Sunrise Grits was okay.
Sunrise Grits?
I think it was okay. It's a restaurant here, a little old folks restaurant.
Man, they closed out restaurant now.
Tell her calm down. Tell her calm down.
My mom told us. Look, you hear
Tell her calm down. Hey, listen. It's okay. God is still good. Listen, tell her God is still good.
My friend Chef told us, look, God is still good. It's okay.
Civilians in distress.
Yeah. About the restaurant that got turned into some fancy place.
See?
Oh.
Tell us you better be living the best life. I ain't going back and forth.
Where you at, Chef? Hold on, who shot at me?
I don't know. Where the hell you at?
Oh, Lord. LJ, so you tried to tell your mama shut up? He the only baby I know that be getting mad to wake himself up. Oh, he was laying right on the ground too. My bad, player. He mad because he woke himself up. Oh, nobody bothering him. That's the way I talk. My son's godfather. He just had a baby, but it was a baby son, right? He sent me a video of baby Israel crying, and he was like, he won't stop crying. He's like, he just cried, and I was like, well, first of all, it's bright as hell in there. He like, look, y'all doing too much. Y'all got they work. He works from home, and I'm like, you know, y'all loud. Mama, he live in South Carolina.
Watch that movement.
What part of South Carolina you live in? He in Columbia. That's an hour and 30 minutes away. Mama, he got a wife and a baby on the way. Oh my God.
Always happens though. If I had a nickel for every time that shit happened, I'd be rich something.
Like, oh, big dude over here, big dude. Oh, we got a heavy. Oh!
Hostage health is critical.
Put him at his piano, babe. Right outside the White House. Put him by his piano so he can play with some more. Well, get your $50 worth out of this. Ooh, teal. He dropped some teal. Wow. Did you say adopt the mama? Oh, he running up. Oh. I cannot. I'm not sure that that's how that works.
I'm weak.
You, yes. Cause you is funny. Funny.
Your mama thing.
Adam. Come out here with your brother. Oh, you ran right past me too.
I mean, they scared to shoot at me. Yesterday I was playing. It was like, don't run, don't shoot at him. And I was like, wait, what? I'm on level 15. What you mean, don't shoot at me? I didn't understand.
I need help.
Oh, shit. My little map ain't working right because it ain't showing red with none of these motherfuckers in. I'm just running into folks.
I'm running toward there. I see the red heat.
Oh, okay. I had a glitch like that last time I played. Oh, wait a minute. We got. Oh, shoot. Dang. Who blew up? That she ain't died from that. Well, that's what.
A level, Judas. It's a level 18 gold.
Ooh, 500. That was a 500 right there. I'll take that. We shouldn't have ate that one. We ain't even made it to the thing.
Yeah, no.
the control points.
Living on that side. Ain't going back for them niggas.
And it's starting to rain.
So check this shit out. I got offered a position. I got an interview with
Reinforcements.
college team stadium.
Take that shit, yo. Take it. You didn't even gotta tell me the rest. Cause I was looking at the Brown chef, and they got him right. Okay, like they got him right. I would imagine so. Yeah. The benefits alone is what's attractive. That's what I'll be looking at. The benefits be looking sweet. Especially for something like a chef. They don't usually give chefs too many good benefits unless you with a chain restaurant. I mean, not a chain, yeah, because they have restaurant groups, that's what I mean. Like a big restaurant group that manages, fancy restaurants like that. They don't give you, top-notch stuff.
It is. You get the job, I only want for the one game. I hope you get game tickets. I only want to go to one game. That's the Carolina Clemson game. I said, okay. I kind of figured that. Oh, so let me tell you, the other day we went Once Upon a Child, right? We got a house divided and shit. And so I found a tiger outfit.
Oh.
So when her team was playing, we wear the outfit and shit. And then of course, I don't really expect our team to do nothing this year. So he gonna be wearing Clemson throughout the football season on Saturday.
Lord. I'm trying to figure out where the rest of the people at. Oh, I guess that was it. Oh, Lord. Oh, wait now. Where I'm at?
Where you at?
Cause this nigga's down the street over here. I'm in the back. That, yo, if you get that, like, I'll punch you. That's what's up.
I was talking to my wife yesterday. We were going to Once Upon a Child. And I was like, man, I hope like hell like today. But the stadium was on like hostile. I read my fucking email and I had a damn invitation for them. I was like, yeah.
That's what's up. For real though. Oh, who's shooting at me?
Oh! Wait!
Oh.
Wait!
I need to take me a med pack. Oh! It's a box in here where I'm at too. I'm in the room. The niggas follow me in his damn room. Oh, whoa. He went to take
Except for the
something.
board.
Supply room access
Oh,
unlocked.
good. Yeah. Okay, that was good. Okay, that was good. That was good, man. That was good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm almost level 19. Shit, I just hit 18 for goddamn I level 2.
Yeah, that's why I said do these control points. I figured that out after. Oh, this is good stuff right here.
Priority items.
Yes, I figured that out after I had pretty much beat the game. That if you do the control points first, you'll level up
Yeah,
faster instead of
because
doing
all
the
I was
missions.
doing was like, I did like the right side of the map first, like you're supposed to do in order. But I cleared all the control
Yeah.
points, did all the side missions, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was already at level 18
Yeah,
before I even went to
yeah,
the left side of the map.
yeah. I thought that would have been a valuable painting. They tricked my ass. Let's see. Oh. I see. LJ, I'll play with this. Yeah, my good friend and my son's godfather had a little baby boy son, and I was like, they gonna all grow up together. I said that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. My damn, I think my youngest nephew and niece is like 2 or 3. I want to say 2. Yeah, I think it's be 3 this year. So that's the closest.
So quick.
Outside of my cousin's child, she had him this year, like a month or so ago. So that's probably the closest thing. Wait,
They attacking this control point right here. I can't get to it because I didn't do these side missions. God damn it!
they're taking what control point?
I got the red dragon one. I ain't got nothing close to that, and the memorial library taken
No, they
too.
already got
God
Red
damn it.
Dragon. They sending somebody over to the vault. The vault.
Well, they just look. They just took it.
They sending somebody over to the vault.
They
So
sent
the
them to
vault is
where?
right there.
Oh,
In here we in.
don't come this way, nigga.
Oh, you know what? I got
Demolition
fast
site
travel to
case.
these safe houses you got open so I can open them shits on my map. Nigga.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just thought about that shit.
Okay, what you?
Cause dog running everywhere, that shit just ain't cool, cuz.
I understand. I used to do that too.
I'd be mad as hell too, cause I was like, yesterday I was like, man, okay, I guess dude would help me. Man, his ass helped me for like 10 minutes. I was like, what the fuck was that? Nigga. Nigga, 10 minutes? Man, I could have watched some better porn or something in that time or something, bro. God damn. Killing me, Smalls.
The days of the outbreak. We're fortunate to get the hostiles confined to the city, even if that means more problems for us. You may be on your own out there, but we've got your back.
I can fast travel to
Good
the
luck,
location.
Agent.
No, I just fast travel to it, you
Portable
stupid bitch.
device detected. Shade tech cache detected.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it how I live.
This is too funny.
Yeah, because I'm literally on the left side of the map, so it was like I was just going to that motherfucker. Like, alright, I'm about to get ready to go over here, smash some shit real quick. I'm already higher level than what's required for this zone, so I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be killing and shit. I already do it being a higher level than the zones I'm
Right.
in. It ain't gonna be nothing to continue doing that shit. Look at that shit.
The last agents were driven out of here when the True Sons
Nah,
took
I'm
over
able
the
to
area.
fast travel.
You can use their
I
intel
just
to get things
fast
back on
travel. I
track.
don't get it.
All right, you've got your work cut out for you. Be careful.
Shade tech cache detected.
How the fuck you lose your house key?
You got new
I
ones.
mean, okay, your
got
car
new ones.
keys, maybe a kid or something.
They're not on the car key. That's why. So she got her car key and the original house key, and then she don't have the new set.
Sound like she set herself up there, huh?
I don't know what she got going on. I was like, really?
I've been mad as hell.
I'll corroborate the data with our own
Maybe
findings.
it seems like we lost truck keys, I think, the other day for
Shade tech
about 5
cache
seconds.
detected.
Like, man, what?
Look, my son says, my son says,
Shade tech cache detected.
Shit, wherever you want to go next, shit, it's all good. I got 2 more to go to. I'm going to one now. Going to be at the next.
Okay.
All
Okay.
I'm doing is hit the computer, open up a shade tech. That's it. That's another thing I've been doing. Is in the zones, I'm getting all the shade tech. I ain't leaving shit untouched.
I need to go back and do that. Yeah, I need to go back and do that.
What it took, like on my first character, what I
Alright, so
realized.
we can start in the
what I
second
realized
one.
It's like, okay, well, I wasn't able to do or switch to my.
Are we in a party?
Yeah.
We in a party chat, right? Okay.
Food supplies detected.
I'm about to log out and go to my other player.
Nearby.
Cause that just gave me a good idea. A good idea.
Okay, well, I guess while I'm still on your map, I'm gonna go ahead and unlock.
Look, look at that. Look
Population
at that.
I
register.
just said that.
Civilians, missing persons,
Yeah,
cons.
I deleted the blind nigga.
Looks like the other agents have been keeping busy. Securing this area won't
Kill
be
a bitch.
easy, but I know that you can do it. Give him hell, Agent.
Electronic device detected.
Oh, she level
Cache
5.
detected.
Oh,
Come
Lord.
on over then, cause you gonna get a it's gonna give you a boost anyway. Wait, don't come to this server. Don't
I can't do nothing
come
on
to
level
this server
5.
yet. Hold on.
Okay. Otto, come play with your brother.
Man, literally the only thing we don't have yet is the bed for the crib and a stroller. But both of them.
Look for clearance on Target, because that's where I got all his sheets from.
Mama get that.
And they the good
My
sheet.
mama get the bed. Her sister getting the stroller.
Oh, okay. They had the good strollers on sale last year around this time. At Walmart, the good ones on clearance, and I got his Grey Coat Forever seat on
Yeah,
clearance
but
too.
it wasn't like last year.
That shit was cheap.
I wasn't last year. I wasn't like, yeah, we having a baby. Go ahead and start buying shit.
Good
You
luck
know what I'm
out there,
saying?
Agent.
Well, he's a year old now, so that's what I'm saying. He's a year old, so last year when we were looking, that's when we got the good
Hostile
stuff.
control point detected.
Oh, I'm in here with a loot box.
Shade
What's
tech
going
cache
on
detected.
here? That bitch is really a level 5. This is so ghetto to me. I got a little teeny gun. Ain't nothing going on but the rent here.
God damn. Alright, I'm about to leave this. Go see since.
Oh, invite me to the group.
Since I gotta leave this session first, because since this session was okay. Hold on. Why am I not showing my friends up?
Hostile control point nearby.
Is that Otto? Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on. This ain't saying it's my shit. Is it? Can I fast travel this? Nope.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like you said cup of coffee.
I'm baffled. Yeah, see, it's not even showing.
Why you back?
Because they went red. I'm back in my session, but I don't get why I'm not seeing like friends and socials on my social shit. All I'm seeing is clan.
Huh. Mine was doing that earlier. It wasn't doing like nothing. It couldn't do nothing. I'd be on my little teeny baby ass man.
What's crazy is I'll be able to fast travel to places and shit. And yeah. So yeah. So if you need, to get somewhere and shit, we can, I'm just saying.
But you see, ain't nothing unlocked on this goddamn map. Nothing. Did say it was a little broadcast over here, but I don't see it now. Oh, it's in the other section. I ain't going over there. Y'all got me after.
All I want is you. You do something to me. All I wanna do is cut it like a movie. Girl, you got that ooh-wee. That ooh-wee. Like BBB. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I be listening to these songs that people be sending me because like they know I be streaming and shit. People send me music to play and shit that I know, so I don't have to deal with like copyrights and shit.
Oh, okay.
The stockpile's running low. We can really use it.
Right. Copyright, we doing too much.
Definitely be doing too much.
Muted your whole broadcast because of one snippet of a song.
Shit, I was listening to some shit the other day. Motherfucker got, well, I wasn't. My wife was having me listen to some shit, and she realized that, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? It was that loud. They muted part of my goddamn stream. I was hot about that shit. I cooled off though. Nigga, what the fuck, nigga? Hey, hold up. Where you at? I bet you got like a.
At the Fallen
like
Crane.
a level 3 weapon, don't you? I tell the truth. Like a level 3 weapon.
Let me look and see. Let me look and see.
You probably got a level 4.
Level 4. Look at me. Oh, I got a level 5. Hold on. I got a level 5. Look at a player. Look at me go. Set. Ah, look at me go.
Oh, when you help somebody try to do a backflip, they still land on their head. Oh
no. Oh God.
Ridiculousness. That's all I got to say. That's what's on the TV. I can't help it. That's what my wife
me out. Show me tripping me out.
That's all I got.
I'm going to get this shade tech in here.
Yeah, I probably already done got it. If it's over on the right side, I already got all the shade tech. That's probably why I didn't see what you marked.
Oh.
I was like, wait, what?
What they mean?
We're running low on resources.
Just poke our ass out to get some resources.
Usually it'd be some people back here.
Oh, that's what I be saying, man. We're like, you going to get shade tech and shit?
Why it's not letting me shoot it?
Shoot what?
Oh, I was about to say. I was like, why wasn't letting me shoot the damn thing?
So I see you done did Grand Washington Hotel, but nothing else.
I don't even remember doing that. Because I remember I made this player, and then I think I played it for like a day. And that was it.
I mean, a day? Wait, you talking about a full day?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
This nigga, you a level 5. We was about
like a few hours out of the day.
I was about to have a couple more questions just to see exactly how long you were on that particular day, saying that you only a level 5. But I do know this. When you are buffed, it does give you more XP. So it should be not for you to get up, which means, man, matter of fact, I'm gonna go on over here. You wanna start on side missions? Or you wanna do like main missions?
I want to get these control points in the shade tech.
See, that's the thing.
You see that when I mark?
I can't see your shade tech. I can see the spots you mark, but to me they don't appear as shade tech anymore because I've already got them.
Because you already got it.
I'm going to that main mission right there, so I'm gonna be right around the corner from where you're gonna be.
Okay. And then I was playing with some other dudes, back when I first started, and they would do half of the mission. I'd fast travel in and finish it and get the credit. I was like, see, y'all be doing that slick stuff. You gotta set them up. It ain't gonna work if you don't set them up.
I'll be in party chat tonight, man. Listen, come on, yeah, I'm coming. Yeah. I got this going on right here. I'm just doing it. I'm almost done. This on that. Make it sound good. Yeah. Alright, where y'all at again? Oh, y'all at the end already? Shit. Alright, I'm coming.
Like, I don't mind that stuff. I don't mind it, but if I need you, like, look, I done told you, come on now. Shit. Got me in here wasting good lives. Can't even respawn. Why is it that it were? Where at? My husband told us something. Our baby boy, he's a year old already, and I was like, "Yep, man." It's been the year went by fast.
That'd be the crazy part. We talking this morning before she went back to sleep.
Damn, that's a big ass rat. What the fuck is that? Oh, that's a raccoon.
Food supplies detected.
9 months exactly. I was like, God damn. I was like, just think. It was just the other day we found out we was pregnant.
Yep.
That's what it seemed like. It's a safe house. I don't want to go in there. I want to go over here where I see that green item at. Yeah. I'm kind of...
Oh Lord, I'm about to get ambushed like hell.
Drinking water detected.
The shade pet, man.
I'm in the alley behind you.
What the hell? Oh no, this ain't the ambush area. But they behind this wall though. I seen it on the way in. Yeah, I seen it on the way in.
Let me look at this FAL real quick. Assault rifle. All I want is you. You do something to me. All I want is you. Cut it like a movie. Hey, you know I told mom that. I said, listen. I said, alright, now listen.
Yeah.
My son came out. That nigga better not cry. She told my son, he gotta cry, baby. Let him know everything all good. I said, if that nigga cry, that nigga better look at me and hold it together.
You ain't got no damn sense. My husband said some crazy stuff like that too. I was like, what, man? That doesn't even make sense. And he was like, Don't. It doesn't have to make sense. I said, okay.
Don't.
All right.
Look at me like, all right. You here? I'm here, Daddy.
I'm so dead.
You better be here.
That's it.
Little bit shit. Be crying. Just cry. I dare you. I cut your ass right in front of all these people.
I'm so done. What's this? A stronghold territory.
I think I just picked up some good shit. That shit got 8% weapon damage. What I got right now, my weapon damage. I'm finding some great shit in your zone. I'm at 7.5 now. I need to go over there and roll that. That's gonna put me. I'm at 7.5 now. And this is 6. Let's go get 2 more. That's gonna put me. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what you're doing, Autumn. That's why I was like, you can't invite me to yours. You said yours was janky. You couldn't invite me to my own map.
No,
Damn.
Once you left, it told me to set your owner left. So there wasn't really much I could do as far as sending invites out. I couldn't see no friends or nothing. Yeah, that shit crazy. Bullshit ass White House. Shit in this bitch.
Take a look at what I've got for you.
Oh my god. She got a clip in here. You might want to come buy this blueprint. It's for 5% weapon damage.
Hope you like
Ooh.
it.
I'm over here trying to get to this darn control point.
I'm gonna put this thing on my weapon and I'm gonna meet you over there then. I'm gonna put this 5% weapon damage on my shit.
You saw it from the vendor.
That's the crafting station, yeah. This shit popping like Crisco grease out the grease.
I'm coming over there.
Grease, nigga. What is going on? What's going on under these? Where they going, man? Quick.
Agent, it seems I have the equipment I need. I'm eager to get started.
Where was it going? That'd probably go.
Let me see what you. Oh, look, I ain't even. Look, dang, I couldn't even get to the thing. Okay, what you got, lady? A Disoros replica blueprint. Is that what that is? Oh, she ain't giving me the same thing you got.
For real?
Oh, I only get these 2 bullshit ass. Yeah, that's it. I get it based on your level. Ain't get that.
Oh, you ain't got some shooting range and nothing. No,
Don't do my thing.
Nah, I was sitting here tripping. I was literally about to go test the shit I just put on here. Like, and I'm like, oh shit.
I ain't got that yet, sir.
What I mean?
Look, I barely opened the quartermaster. I got 1 turret.
I got everything. Except for the shit I need when I hit level 30. So I don't know. You know.
Hey, nothing in this piece.
I can tell you what, if I find some, well, no, if I
How?
Another agent
How did I
is
get the
now in
math?
your group.
So I guess the mask transfer from character to character because it still got all the masks, the ghost mask.
It's like if I go to my apparel.
Oh, okay.
And go over to my mask, I can put on whatever mask I want to put on. I put. Hold on. I like that one. Who the hell is 6'9"? What the fuck is that?
I don't know. Oh, my group thing open. Which is fine. You can come do some free roam if you want to. But I need to open up this, I need to do this control point though.
That motherfucker can't hear you, man. I'm about to find out now. 666 times 9. Or whatever. Probably a demon or some shit. Hello. Yes. Thank you for the invite.
I hate you so much, man. I can't.
Hey, 6'9". Is it okay if I call you 6'9", or is that too much?
Why are you like this? Why are you like this?
Wait, hold on. First off, 6'9" is good, daddy. Fuck.
Hey, I don't know about you, but you know,
Listen.
I'm cool with the freak shit. I'm cool with the freak shit.
Another agent has joined your group.
I'm not mad at it. I think it says 6669. I'm going to the demolition site. Y'all doing too much.
I'm waiting to find out where you going, Johnny.
Doing too much. I could have went to this other safe house. Let me go to stop playing around and go to this control point. Why you hold your brother like a baby?
I mean, okay, wait, huh? I'm confused. Did you just ask her why she holding her brother like a baby?
Hold him like a newborn. Yeah, he grown. He is literally the height of a 2-year-old. He's the height of a 2-year-old. Yeah, that's what he thinks.
That may be true too.
The boy grown. He's as long as a 2-year-old. Well, his dad is tall, so I didn't expect anything else. How the hell I get out of this piece?
Detected. Nearby location. Guarded by hostiles.
I ain't never exited out this door before.
Detected.
Went out the wrong door. It's all good. As long as I don't catch no crazy shit in the street. Oh, I already caught some crazy shit in the street.
Catch some crazy shit in the street. You don't have the wrong though.
Oh no, these are people. Okay, these are folks.
Base match. Item of interest detected.
Who the hell talking? Oh hell no! Oh! Oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. This gun don't have enough bullets. I need a new gun. I'm spoiled now. I'm used to my 100 rounds. This 30 rounds, it's not doing it for me.
So I got an assault rifle. I fucked around and made the clip for 10+ rounds. 40 rounds in that bitch now.
I done got too spoiled now. I don't know what to do myself. Who was that looking? Damn, I'm thinking this is my other character.
Go on ham then.
weak ass turret and I done threw out.
Good. Try to go ham.
Alright.
Look
If
at
you're
this.
set on self-destructing, I can't stop you.
Look at this. I can't do nothing.
It's not nothing. You got some self-destructing to do.
Honestly, it may feel like you're powerful.
Before more show up?
Then again, your ass get out by yourself, you find out. Shit get crazy. Real quick. Hold on. So I gotta go on the ground here.
Oh, this one you can go in different ways. Oh, I can see him from right here.
Reinforcements incoming.
Out the back door. Out the light box. Let me go on in this way. This is weird playing with this little itchy ass character, man. I feel so inadequate. This is so cool. My little squishy. Little squishy. Don't you come shooting at me. Do it.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Ooh, my turret ain't doing nothing. I'm not.
Oh, how did I get there? Oh, but then I died.
Shit real out here.
Yo, this level 5 shit is not for me.
Shit real out here, guys.
I'm dead. Somebody come spawn a nigga.
I'm trying to get over there pretty bad.
All the enemies on this side. I know. I see where you at. All the enemies on this side.
Hostile broadcast picked up.
Alvin Jones, he get pulled too. Run, my nigga, run. Why don't you run? He took a med pack. He was smart. I couldn't even get mine. Look, they getting mowed out by Merc. And he picked me up with the assist. Appreciate it.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Somebody feels like a crackhead in front of the corner store.
What is this? I need this
That's
little
a hot. That's
high
a hot.
pack. I need some.
That's what I've had that bitch since I started the second character.
No, I'm talking about some little trick that that little bag that I think. Look at the citizens. They are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Y'all are not doing what y'all supposed to be doing.
Detected.
Picked off.
Got everybody in the back area flying right now.
What up? Oh. Big guy. It's like my gun's not doing nothing. It's not doing nothing, guys.
Clear the control point. You alive though.
Look at this, y'all.
Those two things they come.
Look at this, y'all.
Supply
I ain't
access
did nothing.
unlocked.
This is ridiculous. This new character life is not for me. Black, I can't take it because I got shit in my backpack that I can't have. What the fuck?
You need me to help you, baby?
Let me see what it is.
What if I want to help you, baby? It's gonna be like fuck me.
Y'all Y'all niggas be so sensitive. What?
Shut up, man. See, Tomo, why y'all niggas be so sensitive? Oh, man.
She said she didn't need no help,
Hey, man,
god dang it.
Fuck that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Right? Fuck that shit. I was like, do you need help?
She got it. She got this.
Let her ever come to me and be like, yeah, I got it. Be like, what? Fuck you. Who the fuck you talking? Hold on, time out. Say that shit again. Then we just.
Can she
Nah,
hear
she
me?
can't hear you.
She
Can't
hear
hear
me?
you.
Nah, guys be like, y'all be ready to strong arm you because you pregnant. I'm like, wait a minute. I just said I'm okay. You gonna strong arm me and they helping? What?
Why you gonna just do us like that, man? Why you gonna just do guys like? Why you gonna just do guys like that?
You be ready to strong arm something. I said I was gonna help. What?
I mean, if
I don't
I
need
mean,
it,
if a
but
motherfucker
okay.
want to help, you gonna just be like, nah, you
Okay.
can't help. That's what you gonna be. You gonna be like, nah, you can't help.
That's why she said no, thank you. Dang.
Fuck that. See, fuck that
Got
shit.
it. Let me, long as I can get
Then I'm
something.
gonna be like, nah, I ain't helping it. I ain't gonna never help. Then ask for my help.
See, that's how y'all be. Oh my God, I'm never helping again. What? I just said I got it this time. This one time, I said I got it. That
I'm dead.
translate to you. I'm never helping ever.
I'm dead.
What? Why are you so dramatic?
I'm going to I'm fast traveling to the safe house. Everybody can fast travel to the safe house now because I'm fast traveling to the safe house.
Oh my God.
Man, hold on, what?
Y'all be ready to knock a motherfucker
I just
over.
be like,
what?
wait, what? Okay, so, but then,
I
but
just
no,
said
but then,
I'm
like, but then it's reciprocated to women. I've seen women do that shit to their men when they be like, baby, you need something. Like, nah, I don't need that. You sure? I don't fucking need that. Why? I mean, what you didn't get it the first time? I just figured I was gonna help. Well, I didn't need your help. That's why I said it nicely the first time.
Oh, I can use this. Okay, 100 rounds. This is better because I was about to say that was not working. That was
That is
not
exactly
working.
what she said.
Oh my God. Nah, my husband used to be like, you said you didn't need no help, but look at you. You're struggling. Well, dang, babe. I'm not struggling. I'm taking it
I need to meet
easy.
that nigga. That's the shit I said last week. That's some shit I said. I need to meet that nigga, boy. Oh, God, I need to meet that nigga.
I'm like, I just said I'm just taking it easy. No, you struggling. You should have took my help. Okay.
On real shit.
Real
shit. I said that
The
shit
hell.
last week. I ain't even bullshit. I know I did too. I'm guilty. You know, I just feel so guilty. But I got to beat that nigga because me and him saying the same shit. That's a cool ass dude. I ain't even flexing. Fuck what you heard.
Priorities are to locate Espinosa.
God damn. I mean, for me, it's like my first child, so I'm over there like, huh? Like I be, you know, most guys don't want to help, so they don't ask. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like knowing that most guys don't want to help their spouse in the time where they need like the help and shit like that to move and just maneuver and just be normal or feel some type of normalcy in their life while they pregnant. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Shit, to be there is basically the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it'd be aggravating. That's like, damn. Okay, so what the fuck? Goddamn shit. Okay, so why the fuck am I here? You don't need my help, but you be.
It was my husband's first.
But you be goddamn.
It was his
You know,
first
but you know, shit. But if he feel like, okay, well, damn, baby, you might need a little help. Well, damn, baby, you might need a little help. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit.
I ain't need the help, babe. I ain't even need the help, but you know what? I'm gonna let you help. But it was funny. What was the funniest part was freaking him trying to put on clothes on the baby. That shit had me tickled because he would never match the clothes up. So I ended up putting all the matches in the drawer so he could just grab and go. He was like, so you ain't like my outfits I put together? I was like, nah, man. I was like, It wasn't going down.
We're about to get ready to start this mission as soon as I get back from this bathroom break. I don't know who ain't at the mission. Who that is?
I'm here. I'm outside.
63 or wait, they say 69, right? 69. You ain't at the mission. We south of your location in Federal Triangle. If you want to join us, that's cool. If not, that's cool. I'm just saying it because you in the party and you probably just sitting there chilling and shit. But yeah.
You pulling the Merc on Merc.
An agent is no longer in your group.
Did you want to go to Walmart before you went to work so we can try to figure out what we was going to do for dinner or put it in? So, did you want to get something before you went to work? Put it in here before? Shit, if we got the goddamn, if we get some more tuna, some more eggs, and some mayo, I'll make some tuna salad, some bread. We got more, I'll make some tuna salad, man. Look here, I will whip it. Fuck you talking about? Bad like cook crack in the 80s.
Last radio contact with Espinosa came from a parking garage close to the shade node. Isaac has the location.
Oh, y'all over here fight. Y'all fighting, huh? Y'all fighting, huh?
I said we could use, clear the little bird, man.
You ain't even pitched to me.
Hey, I'm squishy, so I got an excuse.
You're gonna be my squishy, and I'm gonna love you forever. My squishy.
This shit say level 17.
You know the fucking Nemo movie.
And my ass a ugly ass level
You know Dory
5.
was like, "You're my squishy." I will love you forever. That was so retarded.
Boy, I had my son watching that. He looking like, what the hell's going on here? Binge watching shows. I watched that.
What's up, bro? I'm sitting here, we leveling up our second character.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah. What you got going on today?
Nothing.
Shit, you wanna hop in here and make this thing a little quicker?
I'll wait now. I'll wait later.
They left?
Hostile radio intercepted.
Yeah, cause I'm level 19. I should be 30 something.
I'll play later.
Fucking kill them!
Look for a way down to the garage and see if you can pick up Espinosa's
Yeah, I'm
trail.
down.
He tends to leave a mess.
Yeah, I'm good.
I also got lost. Trying to find some.
Oh shit. Motherfucker blind me, I still took his punk ass out. All I want is you.
This squishy shit ain't. I don't see how I made it through this game.
I can't.
Oh, 2th Degree invited us to a party. He invited us to a party.
He probably did it inadvertently. He probably was trying to leave. He's a streamer friend of mine. He be watching this shit.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, I think he just started his streaming page. No, was that him? Yeah, I think he just started his streaming page. Toothless? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's one of the.
My husband just asked me the other day why I don't stream on Twitch anymore. He said it wasn't really like a pastime, and I got a lot of creeps.
You should do it. You should do it on the book page. Yeah, Twitter is a little. I mean, Twitch is a little creepy. With Facebook, you can manage how you deal with the creeps a little bit differently.
I was like, yeah, because it was a little too much. I was like, I don't love it that much for me to be dealing with that, man.
The shade node should be close.
And then I got it set up like if people put it in certain words in the chat, it don't matter what platform they put certain words in the chat in, it won't never come in. They'll comment. They'll see they comment, but nobody else will. Hell yeah. Now we can talk about sex, money, and murder and shit. But you know what I mean? Curse words are they there? Yeah, there's some cuss words. No, I don't think there's some cuss words in there. I think there's more or less the bullshit ass words you can't keep out their fucking mouth. They don't know how to shut their fucking face.
Oh, right. Oh, look, he popped up on the dude. He wasn't ready. What's wrong with y'all? Oh, who threw that bomb? What the hell? Oh, these niggas is wild.
Got me and life fucked up, cuz. Don't even touch me. I'm good. Merc his ass as soon as I get up.
He took a hook.
Active shade beacon nearby.
That's probably the node.
This was a hook.
You to it.
Baby, today game day. You think I should attempt to stream the game?
Now while I'm this squishy, this is terrible. I had to resurrect my original character, Anthony Hamilton.
I mean, it ain't gonna be a murder scene on there. See, I'm gonna be playing the game, right?
There should be a terminal
And then
that'll let you reactivate.
and then I'm gonna have a game.
You're gonna have everybody witnessing the murder.
Oh.
It's already bad enough the people that are gonna be there gonna see it.
True. But what if we win? Will it still be a murder?
That means it is going to snow today.
Wait, why is it gonna snow?
I'm a level 6 now.
Shit.
I'm a level 6.
My girl said if our college team win today, if my team win today now, it'll snow today. Knowing it's hot in the motherfucker outside today.
System analytic computer reactivated.
Bullshit. Well, no goddamn hope.
That was the last step to getting Isaac fully restored locally.
My whole
We
business
have a
y'all
ways
give
to
some
go
type of
before
run for their money.
and a
I'm
missing
just hoping
agent.
for
Continue your
who
sweep
play
of the
first?
complex.
Y'all play today?
Yeah, we play today.
Who y'all get beat by today?
Man, we play Syracuse.
Oh yeah, y'all can get beat, and I'm gonna tell you how I know that. Cause they was the last team to beat y'all before y'all went on y'all run. Facts. Before y'all went on y'all 2-year, y'all want to be all you can be, Clemson, Tiger, Banshee, little Tiger Cat things, whatever. Why is 6'9", bro? You need to chill out, bro. You act like you built 17, 18, bro. You know what level you is? You was born 2005, 2006. Come on, calm down now.
Well, I was trying to figure out why y'all was punching in the corner.
He was over there trying to take on these. He was trying to take on these motherfucking face to face and shit. I'm over here like, oh, this nigga was born in 95, 96. Calm down, boy. I'm in 2019 with this shit. Fire that ass up. Where you at? Don't worry, don't run up on me, bro. Just say don't fucking run up on me. Y'all need to play that shit from a distance. Let me run him out they spot and shit. Motherfucking assault rifle I got gonna run them dead out that motherfucking spot. They ain't gonna have no goddamn chance. Where the fuck you at, bitch? Alright, let's go. 3:30, there's a box over here. Anybody got a hyena key?
Get these little looty loots. Hold on. I ain't got no damn keys, nigga.
Hey guys, I'm still willing to deal, but you better decide fast. I don't know how much more this is going to
I
take.
try to pick up these collectibles, okay.
She's goading you to try to make you reckless. Just stay focused.
Ain't got but
Nobody
so
got a
much.
hyena key?
Nope, not on this character.
Brokes.
I wouldn't open up nothing anyway on this level.
Shit, me. They reset.
You
they
think
reset.
it's worth it? Oh, but if you wait until you like level 30, back to the boxes, you get better stuff. In my opinion.
All right. Damn. Y'all might beat Syracuse though, honestly.
Oh, okay. I couldn't.
Too heavy on the left. Coming in that side, we got to go up.
Keep behind the table.
$6'9", watch your flank left side.
The little pinch did a little something. Little turd I got. The little pinch did something.
Come on, the turret that's shooting this dude right here in my face is trying to kill me?
Yeah.
Oh, he was gonna kill me.
Yeah, that little turd
It had his ass running. That's all I needed right there for the moment, because I needed to reload at that time too.
I was like, oh, I'm used to my super flame turret with the extendo.
You know the damn flame turret with them extendos on to give you trouble. Look at that. Even Mr. D's on, Ice Age on, Hunger Games, Friday, Tomb Raider on, all kind of good shit on. Hey baby, no cap, you can go get me some goddamn wait. What the hell was we just talking about getting for today?
Oh, that was a glitch.
You okay?
Agent vital signs.
Huh?
0.
You okay over there?
He didn't have to die here.
Killed that nigga. Killed the ass.
Look at them secrets. They laughed at your secrets just now. They was like, look. I don't know whose secrets them was. They laughed at them secrets.
I ain't throw out mine. I only got
I got the single one too. And then somebody else see. I think there might have been 69 secrets went out there like. It was like. It was like, did you feel that, bro? What? They ain't least pinched to bitch.
Yeah, when you ain't got them modded right, they ain't right, it'll make you mad.
I don't know what that is. Just shot past me, but somebody on fire. I do know that. Look at that. We already got another 7th grader. Y'all should be good, man. Yeah, y'all should be good. If anything, we need to take out that. I mean, trying to take out that one with that car. See, look, she tried to take me out just then. Up there.
Oh, up there.
I got it though.
I didn't even get to put a little secret mine up there. Not that it was gonna do
Shit,
it.
mine almost got to her. It was dead before it even got to her. I wasn't even mad.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, look up that recipe for that thing that we saw today.
Look at the distractor.
With the chicken and dumpling. Was that? Hold on. Was that the chicken and dumpling, or was that the beef stew and dumpling? I want to say I did. But that shit did look good. I ain't gonna get that. Well, you say you want to get it tomorrow morning. So what do you want to eat tonight? We got the leg quarters in there, but we have to take them out, thaw them out. But we got the beef in there. You gonna use that for the beef stew and. Hey, but I think I was on Merc page. $5 ass down. You're not gonna kill me.
Oh, it's somebody else in the group. That's why I was like,
that's why I said with the 7th grader in here.
Joined at the last minute. Oh. I got this other book getting ready to come out.
Oh, for real?
I've been waiting for my publisher to send me a couple of emails that I need.
How you deal with that shit? My lady been trying to write a book for a minute. Well, she been writing one. She just ain't know how to go about doing the other shit.
A lot of YouTube, man. That's how I did my first one. And I self-published my first one. So that's why I ended up finding this publisher lady. And she was like, oh, I saw your self-published one. And I was like, yeah, I was just trying to test the waters and see what I could get accomplished. I was like, I didn't really know what I was doing. YouTube University, putting my stuff together and feeling it out. It turned out all right. I'm a perfectionist, and I can tell you that my first book was not up to my standards, but it got me out of my shell to where, I can actually, do this other one with confidence. So.
Yeah, because I was told that there was people, there was places that did book publishing for free.
Yeah, I mean, you can self-publish for free. You can do all that stuff yourself and, get it done. You don't have to go through nobody, but, long as you got like a network to put it out. What I ended up doing was I bought my first little packet myself, and I ended up selling them physical copies, and then I let people know where my website was if they want to order additional ones or look for future stuff.
Ah. Word. Get down on it. Get down on it.
Let me go to the bathroom.
How you want to do it if you really don't got a chance? By standing on the wall. Put your face up on my balls. How you want to do it if you really... Nope. Let me see something. I ain't with either. Bet it's a light machine gun or something.
Let you be one-stop shop. How about that?
I like your map, dog. I got this shit here. I want that. Wait, I ain't got enough. Can't buy it. Why I can't buy it? Oh, I ain't got enough. Oh, that's some hoe shit.
That filled my inventory. Thank you. Looks like high-end gear. Hope to do business with you again. Nice doing business with you. Good to see you. This should fill up my inventory. That was a good deal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
An agent has gone offline.
What the hell?
Get down on it.
Come back for 5 minutes. This nigga's laid out.
Get down.
The hell y'all doing? Chef, what y'all doing, man?
What? Man, Chef up here crafting shit, man. Chef don't know nothing about nothing, man. How you gonna do it if you really don't got a chance? I'm standing on the wall. Put your back up on the wall.
I'm done with you.
Yeah, I'm over here rolling, cause like as you going along, you don't even really realize that most times you can craft some shit that is way better than the shit that you have on. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
even when you do get to level 30 and get to gear score 500, it's the same way. And you don't even realize it until you start doing it.
Yeah.
Like I just got on a pair of better gloves just now. I'm gonna go up to the backpack. I got one backpack choice.
I gotta deconstruct a lot of this lower level stuff because my backpack is only 30 right now, so I gotta make sure I'm deconstructing a lot of this stuff so I can have some stuff to craft and to not fill up my bag. I don't have the extended bag like I had on the other character. Not yet, anyway.
Huh?
Not yet, anyway. Yeah, still got a level 4 little pistol.
Baby, I think you got that big head syndrome, but don't worry about it.
You be wanting to get killed.
I be wanting to get killed? What kind of shit is that? It's like saying, yeah, you want to die.
You be just asking to get killed. You just want to die. You got a death wish.
No, I don't. I do not have a death wish.
Your next stream gonna be called Ready to Die. I'm gonna see how long it take my wife.
My next stream gonna be called Ready to Die. See how long it take my wife to kill me.
This is crazy.
She ain't gonna kill me yet.
Uh-oh, I finally got some better knee. Whoa, no, wait a minute. This knee pad better.
I'm telling you, baby, just let me know.
I've got the biggest.
I mean, I know you ain't, but let me know.
I'm happy to take all this. Good trading with you, Agent.
This is just terrible.
That's what she said.
Can't do this. Dang. I ain't used to, I definitely need to get me some more,
If I can't get more pieces from the toy store, I'm not gonna be able to finish my fucking map.
All right, Manny.
I vote to remove this player because he already offline.
An agent
New
has
missions
left.
are open.
Well, you look hot. I don't know if you look cold.
Okay.
I'm just saying you look hot. Arr. What?
I feel hot, but yet I got chills.
I'd say you sweat it out. Get under cover and sweat it out. Fuck it.
Oh, look, they done opened up the new side missions for a player. Appreciate it.
I'm about to go ahead and get started. Miami / Ohio at Cincinnati.
Miami, that's in Ohio.
Probably. With the remote? I don't have the remote, boo-boo.
Oh, yeah.
Sit down on it. Sit down on it. Sit down on it. Sit down on it. How you gonna do it if you really ain't got a chance? Sit down on it all. Sit down on it all.
Supply room access unlocked.
LJ, you poo-pooed big dog.
She talking about LJ, you know poo-poo, big dog? Yeah, you know poo-poo. I'm gonna be like, DJ, how that diaper look? He gonna be looking. No, you lying. You little sack of monster, you.
Like, big dog, you poo-poo, like, you did me like this? Who had the control
Do
for
you
it?
think it's because you ain't eaten nothing yet? Since earlier?
Ooh, it's Shade Tech all around here. What, big dog? What?
Hyenas got their hands on a Shade Tech cache. They took it
That's
to
what
a
I'm
hotel
saying.
they used for sorting all the goods they pillaged from civilians and rival
Grandma left her
factions,
phone here.
recover it and bring it back to the White House.
Hostile broadcast detected.
I need a lot of incense for your butt,
You
sir.
need a lot of incense for him, boy. He goddamn, what he do to the house?
You know, he's in that stage when he first starts to eat real food. Yeah, them poops be crazy. And you want him to be off the milk, you want him to be off the booby, but then you're like, wait a minute, man, you got grown man shit now. As far as be lethal. Then you be looking all crazy. That at you like, okay, so when you gonna hook me up with a diaper change? I'm looking at him like, you know, when you gonna tell me that? No comment, courtesy.
I was in the store. We was in Walmart yesterday, baby, or the day before yesterday. One old girl talking about some boys are nasty. They'll be in public grabbing their genitals and shit, putting their hand down their diaper and shit. I was like, what? I'm thinking yeah, that's what she telling me in the store the other day. I was more or less tripping on the fact of what she was saying because I was on some damn. Was I like that? I wasn't really worried about if man was like that. I was just thinking, was I like that? Because if I was like that, then he could be like that. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never asked my mama. So
hey, where y'all at? Where y'all at? Hold on, man. It's a shade tech, right? Where y'all at? Hold on. Zoom in. Let me zoom in. Yep, 669. You got that right idea, Blair. Right idea. Some enemies over there?
Yeah, I was over there doing the thing on.
This is a warning to the division. Back the hell up before you get yourself killed.
This I was doing something over here the broadcast. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you see them?
Wait a minute. Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing something that ain't even gotta be done. Get this shade tech over here.
I'm over here getting XP. It all gotta be done. Where is it? I don't know where it is. I ain't.
Oh, it was right here.
So I ain't see nothing.
I got you. You stupid.
Nah, remember I told you can mark it, but I see the mark. I don't see nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I ain't gonna never actually see the box blowing.
I think 6ix9ine went to it. 6ix9ine had went to it. That's why I'm fast traveled to him.
Oh, word.
Oh, I just passed by it. Oh.
You better how you gonna just say you go past?
Where you take the Pampers at?
Oh. Pass somebody and not kill them?
Yeah, he just finished pooping.
I mean, he just finished pooping? Did you open a diaper as he was finishing?
Yeah,
no, I'm about to say.
He has a signal.
What the fuck? Baby, she said he got a signal to let her know when he done pooping all over in his diaper. What kind? Do we need to come up with a routine for him to have a signal to let us know, like raise his hand or scratch his ass or some shit?
Not really. Y'all ain't right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, you done boo boo, and he'll probably laugh.
Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
Like you're badass. You gonna laugh some more. I'm gonna be like, all right. You'll be laughing when you be in that diaper for a couple hours, smelling your own shit.
There's some boxes in this little alleyway. Yes.
Babies be stink. Boy, I remember when we used to babysit our nieces.
Oh, he said grandma don't do it. Yes. How you get up this ladder? Hold on, I gotta go up this ladder, y'all. What do you mean again? He boo-booed already?
You done boo-boo again? Y'all need to...
Hold on, how you boo-boo again? You can't do a two.
Man, you need to put that nigga on the potty, cuz. That nigga in the potty again. You need to put that, you need to put that.
You can't do a twofer. That's not how this works.
He definitely did that.
You
need to put that nigga on the potty, cuz. Little nigga slinging weight.
Chef said we need to put him on the potty, little nigga
slinging weight. He put something on the potty. Nigga did a two-for special and shit. So buy one, get one on a biscuit.
Yo, y'all at the side mission? Y'all gonna do the side mission?
Get a side bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. 2 for 1. Oh, there's a cell phone up there somewhere.
A twofer.
So, baby, what? Do you want to eat something other than that, or what you want to do?
This is gonna be good.
Honestly, notice us first. Keep your goddamn head down.
Baby, if you want me to beat the shit out of him, I can't do nothing right now.
Time. He been having a good time.
I can't do nothing right now. He kicking the shit out of you. I can't do nothing till he come out.
They're not even armed. This is gonna be a fucking pinata party. If you're expecting candy, you're in for some disappointment.
When he come out, I'm gonna leave him with one of the nurses for the first 2 seconds. And I'm gonna request my baby back.
48%.
The cache is a built-in locator. I've got a read on his position. Looks like it's somewhere.
Unfortunately for me, our baby had to go to NICU, so I didn't get a chance to hold him and stuff when he first.
Yeah, you did say he was a preemie, ain't it? Right here?
No, he wasn't a preemie. He was 38 weeks. He had
Oh. Yeah, I think right at what 35, 36 weeks.
Yeah.
You're right on that shade tech cache.
He was clean this whole time. He was clean this whole time. Y'all supposed to change too fast. Oh Lord! Oh, what? Now you did all that. No dice. Lord have mercy. Mama, people can hear you.
Fact. It's okay though. I told him, Jesus is still alive.
Luckily, he's having a son of his own. Oh, I can't read. Mama getting shot up.
Your mama's parents must have been glad to make
it. No, they were not.
Come here, fucker. Why you running? Don't make me come back up some goddamn steps.
Whoever my backup killer is, ma. Right here. Back of the room. Ooh, got him. Got one. Oh, they're coming down here. Oh. What level are these? They level 19. Oh! Oh no, don't you dare! Why am I? Oh! They cheated because I took a darn thing.
I got it.
Gotta take a little thing before they kill me again. I'm about to run.
Good, Joe. Yeah, down. He was like, bro, he coming. He's coming, bro. Run.
Right. Right. So I said, I got to go. Yeah.
I'm downstairs.
Merc done went downstairs again. You said y'all got a lot done, mama. Oh, look at y'all. Y'all fancy or whatever.
The exit is up ahead.
I'm handicapped. You heard LJ? He's co-signing. Who? You said you. Well, we need to get you a check, because I can't get a check. I don't know. I ain't gonna mess with it, though. I need everybody to get a check. Somebody, what Amber say? Amber Mama told us, don't get you that disability check. I said, you know what? After they denied me, I was like, I'm glad I got denied because I didn't want it in the first place. And then two, you know, the way y'all was hyping it up, not just y'all, people in general. I'm like, you only get $751 max. That's max. And then that's the value that takes away from your other stuff. That takes away from LJ. I was like, yeah, right. So I was like, nah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's shooting a goddamn pellet gun out of this bitch. Somebody about to put that barrier into pellet 300 down.
I'm done with you. Ooh, somebody coming. Gotta give myself a little medi pack. Little medi pack.
Your mama lit, ain't it?
This is where I get my personality from.
Why?
You think I'm funny? Spend 24 hours with my mama.
I'll probably die from laughation. If that's a word. Shit. Fuck. That nigga be tripping, dog. That nigga be having me tripping. I just be listening to it going in the background. Shit. Shit. Baby, you sure you want me to go to the doctor store see what they got in there?
Oh, man.
Baby,
Oh,
you
man.
ain't moved
Get
yet,
off
baby.
here. I gotta get ready.
I'm sorry. I can't move his butt out your rib.
He looking like, what's going on here?
An agent is no longer
Well, go back to sleep.
Did you lick it?
Baby, you ain't gotta be.
Merc, I'm
All
about to go. I'll
bro.
see you on later.
I mean, all right. See you later. Yeah, I'll be on.
All right. Okay.
You are no longer in a group.